everybody. This is Michael Persad with Church Brain Guide. Thank you so much for jumping on with me today. I'm so glad to just be hanging out with you. This is Church Brain Guide, where I want to serve you as your virtual communications director because I believe that confusion is the enemy of your vision. I want to help you to get this right. In fact, there's a free resource. I'm going to tell you more about it later on, but it's called the Church Branding Checklist. It's just a new resource that I've created to help you go through your church branding process and get it right so that you can present your church in the right way to your city. Branding is really about perception. It's how people perceive you. It's what they say that becomes your brand. And it's a powerful tool that we can use as a church when we understand what branding is. And I want to help you do that through the Church Branding Checklist. So make sure you check that out. Today we're going to be jumping into a topic that will help you out tremendously. We're going to be talking about the website, your church's website. Your church's website is extremely important. We need to make sure that we get that right so that we're able to create a great front door. If you think about it, people are coming to your church through your website. Like, it's the first place people come to when checking you out. So you need to make sure that the website is serving well to get people to take their next steps. Your website needs to talk about them, and I'm going to show you how to do that. There's 3 pages that you need to make sure that your website has, and that it's just the right play on each of those pages, because people make a decision whether or not they're going to come to your church on what they see on your website, especially on these 3 pages. And one of them is not the homepage. So your homepage is very important. We'll do a whole other segment later on the homepage, but these are 3 additional pages that you need to make sure you have on your website and that they are done right. So I'm going to give you the playbook. I'm going to show you some examples of what those pages need to look like so you can build that out with your website builder, whatever you might be using. I love to use WordPress. I know other churches love Squarespace, Weebly. There's a bunch of different ones, website builders out there. There's even some proprietary ones that are unique to a specific company. But what I'm going to show you is something you can do on any web platform. It's just a play that you can run. You don't have to have a certain platform to do it. So it's going to help you out. Again, it's just going to help you get your website right. So I'm going to show you on my screen a few things. So if you're watching, you can follow along on my screen. If you're not, that's okay. I'm going to be, if you're listening to this on audio, perfectly fine, especially on the podcast, the Church Brain Guide podcast. It's available on iTunes and Android and wherever podcasts are, wherever you listen to your podcast. So I'm going to describe things really well so that you don't necessarily have to see it. Also go to churchbrainguide.com and you'll be able to get any show notes or on the blog section of the website so that you can get any resources that I might mention. The Church Brain Guide, the checklist that I talked to you about earlier is something that I'm going to make available to you with a direct link. So you'll see that in our comments area down below if you're watching on Facebook Live. If you are watching on Facebook Live, I'd love to get a shout out from you. So just say hello. Let me know what church you're with and what city that you are in. I'd love to just kind of know if you're out. Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. So let's keep going with this. Hopefully this helps you out in a huge way. So that you're able to get this stuff right for your church. So again, Church Brand Guide, I want to serve to help you become your church's brand expert. So you're taking strangers and turning them into people who contribute to your church. I want to help you steward your resources well, so you say yes to the right things. The result of that is that more guests show up, more life change gets to happen, and more people contribute to your vision. There's a process that we take you through here at Church Brain Guide. It starts by getting clear about who you are, then from that, creating the right experience. And then you need to attract people. So step number 3 is to make sure we attract people. And then the final step is to get buy-in. So once people come, we need to make sure that they take their next steps. I also do have a membership. It's my academy area of Church Brain Guide. So if you're ever interested in taking this conversation further, do go to churchbrainguide.com. Today, though, we're going to jump into the website strategy. And again, we're going to be talking about these 3 pages. So let's get into it here today. The problem with most church websites is that it is very confusing. So confusion is the enemy. This is not a spiritual podcast. This is just a marketing, branding, business type of conversation that we're going to have here today. But confusion is very real. On a spiritual side, it's real, but also in a very practical side, it is real. And when churches are confusing to people, then people don't stick around. They leave. And many church websites, it's very confusing, really, because they don't build the website with a goal. Like, what is the end goal of the website? If your website was an employee, what would be its job description, and how would you measure it? I'll submit to you a simple answer. So the solution I'm going to be telling you about here is focus. Focus on making a great first impression. So the job description of your website is to make a great first impression. So people that are coming to your church, they're checking you out for the very first time, they get the essence of who you are in a very genuine way. And then we want to create a call to action, a next step. And that has to be extremely clear on the website. And the call to action is to come visit. So I'm going to give you that one as well. So come visit on a Sunday morning, or right now, especially after COVID and everything going on with everything being online, come to our online experience, our online service, whatever that looks like. So there has to be a clear call to action, and it can't be hidden. So we're going to look at, we aren't going to look at the homepage, but we're going to look at some other pages, and there needs to be a clear call to action to help people take their next steps. And the best next step is to come visit on Sunday. So we want to create a website that is focused on getting somebody who's checking you out for the first time on the website to come to a Sunday service or a weekend service, whenever your service is. And the truth is, they're going to be checking you out on a mobile device. So we need to make sure that this looks amazing on mobile, and it looks good on a desktop. So let's make sure we get those things in place. So there's 2 keys to success with the church website. One is to make the site simple. Can't be confusing. It has to be simple. Simple and clear. That's the other part of what I'm trying to communicate. It has to be very clear. And it needs to be designed for the new user. When you design it for the new user, you will win with your website. When you design a website for current members, then it gets to be very confusing. Nobody wants to see the Tuesday night usher meeting on the website. That's just not where it needs to go. We need to make sure that it's designed for the new user. Let me ask you this. Have you ever had somebody come to your house, a guest come to your house? Recently, maybe? Well, if you have, then you probably realize that you start to notice things at your house that you didn't notice before. You take that, you see that picture on the wall that's crooked, and you straighten it out. But you haven't noticed it for the past 3 months. But now, because somebody new is coming to your house, you notice it. What if we could design our website so that somebody new could have a great experience on our site? That's going to make it better for everybody. So I'm just going to give you a quick bit of insight. If your website's built for the new person and you have a church app that's meant to serve the current members, the congregation, then that's probably going to be the way to go. The app can communicate things that are very internal. The website has to be very intuitive in how it's designed. So make sure that it is something that a new person can come to and very intuitively understand how to get around the site and find what they need. So we're trying to answer questions throughout our entire website experience. All right, let me ask you this. If you're on the call, if you're on Facebook Live, let me know what you think about your current church website. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being awesome, it's great, and 1 being our site is really bad. Where does your website land? Give me a number, throw it in the comments area, and then tell me why. Why do you think it's a 3? Why do you think it's a 7? Just give me one quick thought. I'd love to hear what you have for a website, if you think it's a great one or if it's not a great one. So a website is part of your brand. It helps you either build your brand or it takes away from your brand. So we want to make sure that your website is a great tool that helps you to add value to people as they encounter your brand, because they're going to go there first. Like, it's the first impression of your brand. So this is the Church Brand Guide podcast, the Church Brand Guide website. It's the Church Brand Guide platform, wherever you're encountering on YouTube or anything like that. It's Church Brand Guide. Well, a huge part of a brand is the website experience. So here's some things that you need to make sure the website does for you, your church website. Number one, it needs to be you need to have a primary focal point. So primary focal point is the first thing, a primary focal point. So give them one thing that you want them to do. So build your entire website experience towards one thing that you want them to do. And I'm submitting to you that the one thing is to come for a visit on the weekend. So if they show up in person, then they should get the very best experience that your church has to offer, and they get the most out of your church. So how can you get people to take that action? And again, right now, with everything being mostly digital, maybe it's an online experience on the weekend that you offer to people. So make sure you point people to the one thing as best as you can, the one thing that you want them to do. When you provide too many options, people don't take action. So when you provide too many options, people don't take action. That's why in marketing world, there's usually one step that that companies want you to take, because you're more likely to take action. We need to make sure we have a responsive design, so it's mobile friendly. We need to use actual photos. Show them what you look like. So again, this is the first impression. Show them your environments, show them smiling faces, show them what you look like. Easy to find visitor information. So make it easy for people to find information so that they can make a visit. Okay, so let's talk about the homepage just for a little bit. So make sure you have a great homepage. There's intentionality behind it. Again, we won't unpack this one too much in this thing, but make sure the homepage is very clear that plan a visit or however you want to word it is kind of the main thing that people get from your homepage experience. From there, the next page we need to get right, and this is our top 3 pages. It's your about page, your visit page, and your kids page. Your about page, your visit page, and your kids page. And I want to give you the playbook. I want to show you some examples of what each of those pages need to look like. The first most visited page on your website is the home page. So probably got that one right. The second most visited page is your about page. So people want to know about you. So make sure your about page actually speaks to the people's needs that are on the website. So your about page is not really about your church. It's not about how great you are. A great brand helps people understand how you can help them, or how do you help them. So a good about page is going to have your church broken down in a way where people understand how your church benefits their life. So it's a place where you can find community. It's a place where you can find purpose. It's a place where you can find hope. So those are the type of ideas we want to have on your about page. So let's jump over and take a look at an about page that is a good example of what this starts to look like. Let me make sure you can, if you're on my Facebook Live watching this on video, you can see it and looks good. So let's take a look at this page. So this is the about page. We want a great photo at the top that just is engaging with people. By the way, this example, I'm using stock photos that I grabbed from Unsplash, unsplash.com. So I just want to let you know that up front. You might have seen some of these photos before, maybe on some other things, and that's not ideal, but it is okay to get started with those type of images. So if you haven't heard of Unsplash, check out unsplash.com. It has a great library of photos that you can download for free. So a little tip for you there. So we're going to go through this page. So we talk about this church real life. This is actually a website that is in process right now. We're building it out. We're getting ready to launch it here in the next few weeks. So you're getting a little bit of a behind the scenes look at one of our projects we're working on here at Church Brand Guide. So as you scroll down, we're just unpacking the story. Like the thing about a brand is about story and it's also about visuals, and it's also about your reputation. So a brand is about story, visuals, and a reputation. So we want to, on this about page, we want to unpack those three big ideas. What is this story that we're telling? What is our story? But really, what is our reputation? Like, how do we help people? And as you go down through this this website experience here on the About page, we're just unpacking how do we help you? Like, what do we have in place for you? We're making things easy for people to get to, such as our social media channels, our beliefs section. So if you're checking out the church for the first time, beliefs might be important for people to be able to get to. So it's important that you have some sort of belief section. People do make a decision based on that. If they've been to church and they're looking for a new church, maybe they moved to your city, then beliefs might be a big thing that you can lean into to help people make a good decision to come check you out. So we have a place for your family. So that's, again, this is just some of the messaging that we have on the About page, so that it's speaking towards the needs of the audience, not necessarily about how awesome we are. We're presenting the church based on the needs of the audience. So that is a really big idea. So I want to make sure you get that. We're presenting the church based on the needs of the audience that we're serving. So make sure that your language is very user-friendly, very guest-focused, and we're speaking to the needs. So discover your purpose. That's another headline that you'll come across. This is a place where you can find community. So again, we're talking about the needs, and we're saying this is our solution for a need that you have in your life. Your life can make a difference. So, and then as you scroll down a little bit further on the page, it keeps on unpacking the church, the story of the church. How do we do these things in your life? How do we serve you? So we have some values, have a area for the pastor, just unpacking who the pastor is. People care about that. That could live on the About page, but if there's more information there, maybe you create your own page for the pastor and just has more information on it. I like to use a family picture of the pastor as well. I think that presents well if your pastor has a good family photo. It makes him more relatable, so that people can say, oh yeah, he looks like a decent person. I should go check out the church. A staff section I think is also great, whether it's on the About page or you link out to it. If you have 20 people on staff, like maybe you link out to it. But if your staff is pretty small, then maybe you can just create a section for it on the About page so people can get to it. I will say that leadership or staff, or however you phrase that, is important. Like, people really want to know who is it in your church that's going to take care of their kids, their teenagers, their needs as they arise. They really do want to know that. So that's good marketing to make sure that you have a good staff section. Create a nice photo, take a nice photo, make sure it's done well, present that really well on your church website. Hey, if you're on the call, let me just check back in with you. Give me a shout out. What is something that you have come across so far in this video that has been helpful to you? Just give me a shout out in the comments area. What is one thing that has been helpful to you, so that it's going to help you make maybe some adjustments on your church website? Love to hear that, so that I can know that it's being helpful. All right, so let's keep going. So this is the About page. At the very bottom, we have the one thing, the call to action. It says new, start here, and then it leads you to the visit page. And that's where we're going to go to next. So the second most important thing, the page that you need to have on your church website, is a good visit page. So let's click on right over to the visit page. This is an example. Actually, I'm going to show you a different website this time. This is Trinity Temple. Trinity is a little bit more maybe traditional is a good word in how they present to themselves to the audience. So this is the layout. It has a great photos of their church. So we're actually loading this page with a lot of examples of the church environments. So the visit page is designed to answer as many questions as possible and make information as easy as possible, so that people say they're going to come for a visit. So photos of the church. We have our core values on display. A big kids section on the website, so showing a lot of photos of like the kids ministry, so people can see that we have a great program for the kids. Kids are going to be a very important part of any church. marketing. Young families really respond to church marketing that has kids content on it. We have an FAQ section where we're just answering the questions that people have before they come. Just keep in mind that people don't know why they need your church in their life, and if they decide to come, it's going to take out some work. It's going to take some work on our end to help them feel comfortable before they even show up in person to then make the decision to show up. So an FAQ section where we're answering questions like, what do I wear? Where do I take my kids? How long is the service? Anything like that is going to be extremely helpful so people know what to expect. So the photos are designed to do that, help people know what to expect. Like, what do people look like that go to your church? Like, that's important. People are wanting to know, like, do they look like me? Are there going to be people that look like me at the church? And so if you have good photos of smiling faces, that's going to help people understand, like, hey, that's what I want for my life. I want to be a part of that. Towards the bottom of the page, we have a plan your visit form where people can submit their information, and then the church gets it and is able to follow up with an email, maybe a text message, and even on Sunday have something ready and waiting for that person when they show up. So we have get directions at the bottom. We also have it at the very top. We have a easy to find information for service times and the location. So making that stuff really easy on the visit page. So hopefully your website has a good visit page. It's going to help people to show up, and that's really the goal of the website. The third most important page is your kids page. So the kids page on your website is going to be important to attracting new people to come to your church. The people that come to your church, new people that come to your church, are typically going to be parents with young children, 18 and under, that need some help in life. And if your church website displays that really well, that this is the place for you, then you're going to see new guests showing up. Even if you're not a young parent, if you're not a parent at all, or if you don't have kids in your house anymore, a good church website is a website that has kid-friendly images and different things like that. People are attracted to churches that have strong kids ministry, even if they don't have kids. So the main message we need to communicate is fun, it's safe, it's clean. It's not about the 23-point program that you have for your kids. That's too much. The thing that the visitor wants to know is it going to be fun for my kids? Is it going to be safe? And is it clean? So we just want to put that right up top. Like, yes, yes, yes. So then we go through, we break down the ministry, we break down the visit process. So we have a whole section here, like what to expect on your first visit. Above that, we have like age breakdowns so people understand where their kid might fall if they show up for a visit, like which program they might fall into. And then we have a bunch of information about visit, like what's going to happen on your first visit. So help people understand what that looks like, because that's going to help them pull the trigger to then come out for a visit. We even have a kids check-in form where you can check in your child ahead of time, just to make that a little bit easier. If people fill that form in, the likelihood of them showing up increases dramatically. So that's a great tool that you can put into your website if you have the ability to do something with it. So again, maybe the kids checked in ahead of time and all they need is a name tag and they're good to go. And it just makes that first time visit process really easy. Any resources you have for parents is great. Parents want to know that your ministry is going to help them become a better parent. So if you do offer anything like that, that's it's good to put something maybe online that indicates that you have parent resources. If you have a section on there about your kids' ministry leadership, that's great as well. People just want to know, they want to see a face. So when they show up, maybe they can recognize that person and they know there's somebody that has a plan for their kids when they come to your church. So those are the three big pages. So we hit on the About page, the Visit page, and the Kids page. Again, let me know in the comments area if that's been helpful to you. Erica's on. Thanks for shooting out a comment, Erica. If anybody else has a comment or a question, let me know. Erica says, ready to redo the homepage put some calls to action in there, be more user-focused. Perfect. That's exactly what needs to happen. Again, I've covered the homepage in the past. I might do another one here in the near future that talks about the strategy for a homepage. That is definitely an important page to make sure you get right. So we might tackle that again sometime. But for right now, I'm going to start to wrap this one up. I wanted to share with you the 3 most important pages that your church website needs to get right after the homepage, besides the homepage. And hopefully this gives you a great game plan to walk through those pages, that visit page, and make sure you're answering questions. Thanks again for joining me on this Facebook Live today. Hopefully that's been helpful to you. I do want to point out one more time the church branding checklist is available. And I'm going to throw a link into the comments area right now that will take you directly to that church branding checklist. So if you need help with your website, there's a section in the church branding, the download for the checklist that will walk you through a game plan for your website. So let me type that in here right now. So if you're on the call, here is the link in the comments section. If you would like to get this, if you're listening to this later on, then make sure you go to churchbrandguide.com. And there'll be the church branding checklist on there that you can download for free. It'll walk you through all the different areas that you need to make sure you get right with your branding so that you're able to put everything in place, create alignment, so that you're able to build a brand. Too many churches make the mistake of just promoting one-off events or maybe promoting small groups, but it's all done in very segmented silos, and it doesn't feed the overall brand. So what I want to encourage you to do, this is a game changer, has been a game changer for me. When I was on church staff, my last church staff I was on, we made such a huge impact. We saw about a 22% increase in people attending the church because we started to focus on building a brand. So I was a communications director. I had a team of people that was helping me to communicate. The church was fairly large, about 2,000 people, so we had some resources, but we were able to see a 22% increase as we focused on branding. So it'll work for you as well. Just focus on branding, learn more about what that is by following Church Brand Guide, and I'll begin to unpack even more and more of that as you do follow and get involved with the resources and free resources that I have for you. So, hey, thanks again for hanging out. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm going to close this out here in about 60 seconds. If you're listening to this on our podcast episode, Church Brand Guide, the Church Brand Guide podcast, please leave a comment or a review in the podcast player. Those reviews do a huge service to me, so other people can find the podcast and get help by it. So like it, share it, leave a review. I'd love you. I'd love you too, but I'd love if you did that, and it'd be great to help this podcast just get some more traction. All right, guys. Hey, thanks again for joining me. This is Michael with Church Brand Guide, and I will see you next time.